Hello and welcome back to Undefeated. We'll be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is after basically witnessing Zander's psychological trauma that was imposed by his parents, who basically always kind of sort of held the threat of physical punishment over him. And it's kind of clear that he wasn't a bad student, he wasn't a bad son or anything. It's just he was afraid of his parents, and if a child is afraid of you, then the child is not the issue, that you are the issue. So yeah. um Also, though, there appears to be something weird going on with Bruce. He went out of his way to help Redline move because Redline was promoted. Also, that's something else that happened. But he also kind of, it looked like he wanted to say something to Zander when he brought him to his penthouse, where the champ lives. When Zander decided, maybe I have to leave, because he was also getting some awkward vibes from Bruce, which I'm assuming he misinterpreted, and I'm assuming it was Bruce wanting to speak with Zander, but he couldn't. Either he couldn't figure out what he wanted to tell him, or he was unable to tell him something. And as Zander was leaving the penthouse, he noticed that it had some damage, like claw damage, which, technically it could be from the previous champ, but it's more than likely the dinosaur that made the damage. And the damage itself was covered up, which may even be symbolism, where oh, Bruce turns out to be not all that well put together either. He's just as messed up as everyone else. It's just hidden behind paint. But yeah. Obviously Redline still struggling with some stuff. He'll struggle a little more with what's about to happen to him. But yeah. The poor guy, when you first meet him, he's like this annoying Yin. He's nice. Short little cute Yin. But he kind of almost comes off as sort of the comedic character, but as it progresses, we find out oh, pobrecito, there's stuff wrong with him too. Zander being nice to him. Anyway, so yeah, so I guess without further ado, let us continue. I believe, what is it, round 6? Yeah, round 6 of Undefeated. We step outside, moving just out of earshot of the library before continuing. God, it was such a mess. Most of the guys were just talking all over each other. Theo could barely get a word in. But yeah, just basic explanations. The fights are going to be harder, and if we lose the first 3 after a promotion, we get demoted immediately. Normally, it's a lot harder to drop ranks, but promotions are different. Oh, but hey, I can finally go to the immersion chamber. Not all the time. But now I won't get in trouble for being there. Ah, right. Also, there's a party tonight. And you're going? Mm-hmm. And you're my +1. I'm not sure. Redline lets out a little whine. Any chance that I could convince you? Ryan won't be there. He got fired. Is there any chance someone there will try to break your muzzle again? He pauses to think. I really don't like how long he has to think about this. Not that I know of? That's the least convincing answer that he could have given me. Great. Fine. But I'm not wearing a swimsuit. He whines, but his tail is wagging. That's fine. And no throwing me in the water. That whine gets louder, but I stand my ground. You drive a hard bargain, but fine. Good boy. His ears twitch and tail flicks. Before I can react, he's got me by the hand and leads the way towards the immersion chamber. It's starting right now. Let's go. I try to pull my hand away, but he's still holding on tight, so I opt to hold his as well. Red's tail wags faster now. Cute. It doesn't take too long for us to get to the immersion chamber, and the party's already set up, albeit with significantly less people than at Ryan's party. But at least there's no line for the food. Ugh, or drinks. Redline grabs a beer out of the cooler and immediately cracks it. Maybe He pauses and looks at me, finishing off a swig before speaking. What's up? You want one? It's not really my favorite, but it's the best that they got, I think. Whatever, it's not my business how much he drinks. But it is my business if he gets drunk and starts a problem. No, I'm good. I don't want to yell at him and ruin his good time. Maybe I can put a fun spin on it. My hand ruffles his head and I smile. Just be careful, okay? You're a tier 2 now. I don't want you getting drunk and having another fight. Concussions aren't good for years. Plus, I don't need to work out carrying you to the medbay again. He whines. Maybe that wasn't as fun of a spin as I thought. Sorry about that. Shit, yeah, he feels bad. I gotta divert. No, it's not. Bong. Bruce steps in from behind, dropping a fist playfully between Red's ears. His other hand reaches down, swiping the drink from Red's paws. And yoink. Mine now. Hey, that's mine! Not tonight, it's not. You're gonna have announcements, and you're gonna have to pay attention. Plus, this tastes like shit. We can get you better stuff some other time. No, it's fine. Hey, stop! The two start play wrestling after Bruce yanks Redline's tail. Luckily, they manage to move away from the rest of the party goers, but it's still a bit of a commotion. And what's with the tail stripes? You're giving the other guy an advantage with a handle like this. Hey, it's genetic. Up he goes, lifted up from the ground by his tail. He actually lets out a little yell, not a danger yell, so I know he's having fun, but still. What you gonna do if somebody lifts you up like this, huh? Redline lunges for Bruce, but the bigger man manages to swing him away to the other side. He's dangling like a pendulum, grasping and struggling to get a hold of Bruce's arm. But at least the rest of the men here don't seem to care, chatting amongst themselves as the music pounds. Something deep down tells me that I should step in and help out, like I did with Cole a few weeks back, but... Bruce beaming as Redline barks through his laughter. I should be stressed, but this feels good. This feels right. I don't need to protect Redline, not from Bruce, and even if I don't trust Bruce all the way, it's not my place to tell Redline who to trust. He'll be okay. And Bruce is okay. He'll keep Redline safe if I can't. I wipe a tear pooling at the edge of my eye as Redline calls my name. Zan! Should we be doing this here? I gesture to all the tables and chairs and people trying to mingle, and both of them to stop too. Right, let's go somewhere else. Slung over Bruce's back, Redline calmly waits as Bruce carries them to the shoreline. I follow. Once we reach our destination, Bruce tosses Redline up into the air, catching him as he falls and dropping to the ground with him. Eh! The two wrestle for a few seconds with Redline's many attempts at calling for help silenced by another painful hold. Zan kicks up around the two, spraying me in the face. Zan! They end up in some kind of pro wrestling hold. Red's torso is exposed while his arms and legs are getting pulled together to meet behind his back, forcing his whole body to contort painfully. Tag out! Tag out! Tag out? Red wiggles his hand, currently being contorted by Bruce. I cast a swift glance up to the dino, who seems to be enjoying himself. Our eyes meet and his wild grin quickly calms to a smile. He's content. He nods as if to give permission before going back to making Redline howl. There is a lot of people around. Well, not a lot, but enough that someone's going to see him be friendly with us. Friendly with the Reds, probably a lot less of an issue than being friendly with me. But Redline lets out a yelp, and I shake back to my senses. Bruce has been so generous as to wait for me to tag in, so I stumble forward and slap my hand against Red's. He goes free and flops into the sand while Bruce's massive arm reaches up to yank me down into a similar position. You ready? Without much warning or much resistance, I'm manhandled into a kneeling position. Bruce manages to keep my legs in place and drapes his massive arm over my face. Like some kind of modified dragon sleeper? I can't see a thing under his arm like this. And now... My body jolts, a dangerous twinge of pain firing up through my spine. I can feel his knee, keeping me in place, bent over it as his arms flex. It's crazy how fast it comes on, Even now when I'm trying to resist the hold, it's useless. Fuck. Fuck. I'm supposed to be flexible, but I can only take so much before it starts to feel like my spine is gonna snap. Bruce is jeering as some onlookers laugh, with Redline despairingly loudly at my demise. I tap discreetly on Bruce's arm, or leg, or whatever part of him I can reach, and the pressure loosens immediately, but the hold doesn't move. I can't move either, with Bruce applying just enough resistance to keep me in place. I guess he's showing off to the crowd, or whatever amounts of people are looking on. And Redline comes in with a save. Woof! I'm lifted over, so slightly up, shifted enough for Bruce to clothesline Redline with his free arm. The sound of Redline's impact against the sand was proof enough of what happened. Gah! That actually sounded a little painful, though I guess the sleeper hold wasn't too fun for me either. Bruce's weight shifts and it sounds like Red's being hoisted up over his shoulder. This is like pro wrestling, right? Maybe I should try selling it a little more. I struggled a bit, and just like with my real resistance, the fake attempt doesn't move Bruce one bit. He does stand up though, which is incredibly awkward for me. I plant my legs and lean back, but it still cranks my spine unnaturally. Better this than let Bruce actually choke me. Hey, all you new 2-tier fighters. Come on down for your mandatory beatings. God damn it, he starts walking, parading me and Redline around on the sand. I can feel my face get hot, and I'm sure Redline is enjoying every second of this. This is non-negotiable. It's part of your contracts. Redline lets out a giggle and Bruce laughs too. Hey, quit wagging your tail. Oh. The beast tosses Redline to the ground, with me immediately crashing down into him. We both lay there while I try to pretend that I am more hurt than I am. Bruce claps his hands. Line starts here, pipsqueaks. Let's see if you earned your promotion. Eventually, Redline and I decide to get up off the ground. Well, I do, while Redline got in line behind the other newly promoted fighters for a second attempt at Bruce. Which went about as well as anyone would have expected, but at least he's having a good time, and he's not drinking, which is also good. The night goes on pretty quick once Bruce got their attention. I got some good food, the vibes are nice, and the occasional breeze makes the temperature just perfect. Once everyone's had their fill of challenging the champ, only Redline remains, who keeps diving back in for more. They have a bit of an audience that comes up and goes, so at least there's entertainment that doesn't require me to make conversation with his people. After a bit longer, Redline finally calls it quits. And 3 tap-outs later, Bruce is finally done with the little guy. He slings Redline over his shoulder and waltzes over. The two are drenched in sweat. Yo. You want this? Please don't drop him on me. Boo, you're no fun. I'm gonna go grab some food. You want anything? I'm set actually. Thanks though. Stripes? Redline lets out a little wheeze and Bruce chuckles, patting his ass. Let's get you some water. Bruce carries him off, and as they walk away, I catch a grin on Redline's face. It's not often that I get to see him so thoroughly exhausted. And judging by the amount of Bruce was sweating, he seems pretty tuckered out too. And I'm only proven right when he sits down across from me at one of the little tables down by the beach. Well, more like collapses down. I'm surprised the chairs can hold that much weight and force. Ugh, this fucking mud, dude. Red also takes his place at the table, seated next to me with a plate full of food. Bruce's massive paws reach over to ruffle Redline's hair, which he seems to immediately regret, shaking his hand to flick off his newly acquired hyena sweat. So you had fun? I don't know. Did we? One look from Bruce is all it takes for Redline to let a little wine slip out of his throat. He's still leaning back in his chair, nearly limp. Yeah, we did. I don't think that we've wrestled like that since... Damn, I can't remember. Not... Not since the old man yelled at you. Oh yeah? How long ago was that? Dunno. Said he was scared. You were gonna get hurt. Huh, that's so? Yep. He said that I was way too strong for you. I like your imagination, Red. He reaches over to ruffle Red's hair again, then smears the sweat from his hair onto the hyena's face. Does fur always collect this much sweat? Yeah? Yes. That sucks. Yep. But it makes it soft. And it collects so much sweat. And you have to get it trimmed like every week. I could never. Who's getting their fur trimmed every week? Yeah, it's only about once every month or two. And most of us shed, so... Ugh, God, that's right. I forgot about the shedding. Last guy I tried dating left fur fucking everywhere. You guys should be required to carry some kind of lint roller or something. I think we should be offended. Don't dinosaurs shed their skin? Yeah, worst fucking month of the year. It's itchy and there's chunks of dead skin all over the place. It's hard enough to brush it out of the bed. Then I got a vacuum. I thought birds molted year round. Do I look like a fucking bird? Red leans over to whisper loudly. He's dodging the question. There's nothing to dodge. I'm not a bird. But I thought... He waves his claw flippantly. Yeah, I know, evolution and whatever. It's closer to like, what snakes do. So you... Bruce clamps a hand over Red's muzzle and continues. Not a snake either. I don't have feathers to molt, so it all just kind of peels off. But I'll trade 1 month of hell over you furballs shedding all day, every day. I can feel you licking my hand, Red. It's not working. Behind his ears fold down, but I can hear a giggle stifled under Bruce's grasp. I just spent like an hour trading sweat with you. A little mud slobber is nothing. But I bet those antlers are a bitch and a half to deal with. Bruce releases Red's muzzle and shoves him away playfully. I shrug. Honestly, I haven't grown them out since I was maybe 10, and even then, Mom had me trimmed every few months. Dad hated me getting them cut so short, but I kinda needed it for fighting. What a baby. Did your old man ever get his trimmed? Once he lost his job, no. But we shed them every winter, so it's bound to happen eventually. You lose your antlers automatically? Yeah, it's not really a big deal. Kind of like losing a tooth. Yeah, but except my teeth aren't giant fucking horns that grow out of my head. But you do have horns growing out of your head. You think that I shed these? That's just the shape of my head. Sucks that you guys can't wear hats. Pretty much everything comes with ear holes these days. You're telling me. 1 year they tried to give out free company beanies and I got pissed. The old man made me wear it at some company party, so I had to cut holes in the damn thing myself. And they never gave another beanie since. He makes you do a lot of stuff, huh? Of course, he's my boss. Doesn't mean that I won't bitch about it. Bruce lowers his voice. Also, doesn't mean that I gotta enjoy it. Do you not enjoy it? What, steamrolling your ass? Well, I know that I don't like that. But before all that... Bruce leans back in his chair and goes quiet for a bit too long. Maybe I shouldn't have asked. It's complicated. Both Red and I look at each other, then back to Bruce. See, it's like... Just then Bruce sits up, that aggressively scowl slapped across his face in an instant. Well, if it ain't the fruit salad, they trying to queer you up too, Bruce? Nah, they were just asking about you. I was telling them all about your little adventures in the showers. Ha, what, putting bitches in their place? Been a while since we had to use the rookie showers. I was thinking more about how often you kept pantsing dudes. That and how loud you moaned whenever I whipped your ass with a towel. The men accompanying Cole snicker before the dog snaps a sharp look at them. You started the towel fight, but you could never take them. Probably the only thing your ass couldn't handle. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but we need a fourth for volleyball. You done fagging around down here? Bruce's expression freezes over, dead hatred filling his cold stare. The two glare at each other for a beat too long, then Bruce speaks up. Sure. His grip on the chair's armrest loosens, and I can see the indents his claws make as he walks away. For a second, his eyes dart to mine. They aren't as scary as they used to be. Attaboy, Brucey. Try not to pop the ball this time. Try not to bitch when I kick your ass for missing the spike. We sit and eat for a few minutes, watching the volleyball game. Bruce and Cole are on opposite teams after squabbling for a while. The other two guys don't get much of a chance to play. Bruce sets the ball and slams it, only for Cole to dive out of the way of the oncoming cannonball. More loud arguing that Red and I can't really make out, but it seems like they don't like how hard Bruce hits the ball. You gonna join them? Seems like your kind of thing. Red sighs and shakes his head. Nah. Is it Cole? He nods, nibbling away at his food. I'm sorry. It's fine. It was a bad time, but I don't have to see him that much. At least he has Bruce to keep him company. I don't think Bruce likes him that much either. I kinda got that vibe too. It's just like they just flock together. At least Bruce doesn't make fun of me. Well, I mean, not for sucking dick or anything. Once I hit my growth spurt, it's over for these clowns. Any day now, Red. The night slowed down after that. Bruce wandered off with his friends, and eventually I had to get to bed. Saying my goodbyes to Redline and wandered back to our room. My room. It's quiet. Now that Red's gone, I guess I'll just get to bed. It's kind of stuffy in here. Without Redline's fan, there's no way to circulate the air. Oh well, just toss my clothes off and try to cool down. And close my eyes. I took a nap today, so I'm not as tired as I should be, but I'm still really fucking tired. It's just like living back above the ground, all alone in my apartment. Peace and quiet. I should get a fan. Lunchtime. It was a pretty uneventful morning, not enough sleep, but a bit of running helped me start the day. It usually helps to get me out of a slump, but even after my morning cardio, I'm still pretty wiped. Hey yo, Pipsqueak! What? I turn around to find Redline wandering to me with a tray of food. Hi? What's up, short stack? Haha, what do you think? Now that I'm in the big leagues, I gotta act tough like Bruce. I think you should focus on hitting 7 feet tall first. You think that they'll allow stilts? That sounds like a foreign object, so I think that it'll be tough convincing anyone to let you in the ring. We spent a bit of time brainstorming methods of making Redline taller before Theodore starts calling people to attention. Good afternoon, everyone. It's that time of the month. It's... Aunt Flo's back in town? The stranger's comments garner some laughs, but it's not the first time that we've heard it, so it's less funny this time around. We're announcing the upcoming fights taking place over the next 3 weeks. The crowd is garnering a bit of commotion. Redline also seems confused. That's weird. I didn't think that we'd hear about this for another week or so. Do schedule changes happen often? Maybe they're arranging some stuff. I think some guys still have fights scheduled this week that they announced last matchmaking day. Probably not a big deal though. Any fight's a good fight, right? Theodore reads through the list, naming off 5 pairs of fighters. And the main event for this week's card will feature Alex facing off against our champion Bruce. The crowd usually cheers or jeers at the names, but when it comes to me and Bruce, we always get a bit of mixed response. People still don't know the full deal between us. I mean, we don't either, but hey, they have even less of an idea. Whatever. I meander on up to where Theodore is standing, where I am supposed to meet Bruce to face off. He hasn't been there the last times that we've announced our fights, so it's a surprise to see him make it to the platform before me. The big guy boasts and poses, clearly making fun of the size difference between us. My face gets hot. I wasn't expecting him to be up here. Normally it's only slightly less embarrassing. Bruce forcibly yanks the mic away from Theodore. I got something to say. Uh-oh. Bruce glares at me, then turns to the crowd. Lots of you guys out here are laughing and making fun of this little buck just because he's small and weak and pathetic. Ah. But I bet none of you got the balls to get your ass beat on live television every month. Let's get some cheers going for the biggest little bitch in all of Fang history. He lets out a vile laugh, the rest of the crowd following suit. If my face was hot before, I'm boiling right now. Aw, look, he's pouting. What's the matter, kid? You still think that you can beat me? Everyone's staring, so I go to say something. Actually, I'll answer for you. Bruce presses our heads together. The sheer size of the man sends shivers down my spine. For a second, our heads are touching, just like when he headbutted a concussion into me in our first fight. With a wild grin plastered across his face, he breathes in, and then out, steam flowing from his nostrils. You're leaving that ring in a fucking body bag, kid. If you show up, you ain't leaving. You got that? He holds us there for a second, and turns our heads to the audience. 'Cause I think they all got it. You got that, fellas? He holds the mic out to the audience, letting their wild cheers amplify through the speakers. I go ahead and take my leave, hoping nobody notices how red my face is. At least it feels red. One of the best things about Fang fights is that I don't have to face the crowd at all once when I lose, so this is a lot still. Redline welcomes me back to my seat with a pat on the back. Eventually, Bruce finishes his little show and tosses the mic to the crowd, who returns it to Theodore after many protests. Theodore continues down the line for a week after, listing off the fights and having them approach the platform. And then more for the week after that, leading up to the final fight. One of our newest Tier 2 fighters, Redline, will be facing off against a lightweight newcomer. A bunch of people start cheering as Redline sheepishly rises out of his seat. The cheers turn to laughs as Red poses, clearly trying to show off like Bruce. His opponent is a newcomer, so he isn't down here. That's probably why Redline doesn't have to go up on stage. Another fight already, huh? Says the guy that gets a fight every 4 weeks. Maybe they're just trying to get me caught up. I thought that was something in my new contract about a quota, but I didn't think that'd be so soon. But a newcomer, I'm excited. Just excited? Well, nervous too, yeah. I'm glad that I get to be the one to welcome them. I just hope that it doesn't start us off on bad terms or anything, you know? I'm sure that he'll be fine once he recovers. Redline puffs out his chest. You mean if he recovers? Ow! Bruce strolls up behind Red, dropping a fist down between his ears playfully. Sup, Stripes? Did you hear? I get to fight a new lightweight. Yeah, I saw. That makes 2 of us that gotta fight a new lightweight. When are you gonna join the bandwagon, Zander? The Zanwagon? Well, I'd either need to beat you in a fight, or you'd need to lose a couple of 100 pounds. Even if I did hit lightweight, I wouldn't be a newcomer. Oh, true. Can you retire and come back in a year? Once I lose 150 pounds, yeah. You boys excited for today? I'm excited for every day that I get to spend with my 2 amazing friends who I'm blessed to be. Bruce clamps a hand over Redline's muzzle. What's today? My birthday. Redline sits up in his seat, wriggling around to try and get free. Bruce's face is stone cold as always. I can't tell if he's serious. Is it? No. Did Bucky not tell you? Tell us what? Figures. You boys are training with me today. What? Why? Easy, easy. Not just me. A bunch of heavyweights might be helping out with the lightweights. If today goes well, might be a regular thing too. Again? Why? Fuck if I know. Ask your coach. He bonks Redline's head again and makes for the exit. See you in a bit. One of these days, I'm gonna climb up and pound his head. See how he likes it. He's got a lot of sharp bits up there, Red. I don't know how well that'll work out for you. What do you think he means training with him? Working out together? What else? Yeah, but why? We've been doing alright with just lightweights. Bucky will probably have some fun little reason. It's just gonna backfire on him, because I'll get too strong for the old man to handle. Something doesn't sit right with me. Maybe it's just the food. Maybe the salad dressing went bad. I'll ask him later then. Wait, I thought you had private classes with Bucky. I mean, I can, but why would I pass up an opportunity to beat Bruce in front of everyone else? You really want to get tangled up, don't you? Hey, come on. What kind of depraved hornball do you think I am? A big one. Excuse you, I'm only 5 foot something tall. And I'm interested in seeing what they're gonna help us with. Of course. No other reason. Nope. I'm not inclined to believe him, but he's right. It's a weird move, and hopefully Bucky will shine some light on it. He said what? So it's not true. I relayed Bruce's information to Bucky before class, but his reaction has me thinking. That piece of shit! It was supposed to be a surprise! Huh? So they are gonna train with us? Well, not quite. Bruce just for today. After putting this little run through the ringer, I thought that it'd be a good idea to help you all learn a thing or two about bigger opponents. He ain't gonna be swinging at you, don't worry. It's just grappling practice. Aww. Aw, we gonna get you checked for brain damage, Red. They laugh it off as Redline trots inside, but I still have more questions. What's up? So Bruce is just cool with this? Yep, he actually came to me with the idea. That does remind me, I wanted to chat with you. Are you okay with this? I know you two got some issues to work through, and I'm not gonna make you do anything that you can't handle, but Bruce seems like he really wants to help, so... It's okay. I mean, it's fine by me. As long as you're sure, and obviously, you let me know if he tries anything fucked up, alright? He pats my head. And it's okay to be training me with Bruce? Is that a conflict of interest or something? All good. I ran the training changes by the commissioner, and he approved it right away, said that he was excited to see the results. Excited to see me crush the runts? Glad the old man can still get it up. Bruce comes up behind us, ruffling my hair. No crushing today, Bruce. No promises. No, I mean it. You all got fights coming up. I don't want you breaking any limbs. Yeah, I know. I'll take really good care of him. Attaboy. You good to go, Zan? It still feels weird, but I don't have much of a choice. I promise you, everything's gonna be okay. I'll be keeping an eye on Bruce. I know, yeah. Everything will be fine. I enter the gym and see Bruce chatting up a pack of lightweights. Seems like a few of them are already friends with him. I can see Redline in the back corner getting ready, his tail wagging away, but still afraid to approach the crowd of what used to be his friends. Bruce's laughter breaks out over the rest of the conversations bouncing around the room. It's hard to ignore them, and surprisingly, it's hard to hear Redline talk over them. You okay with this? I'll be fine. Mostly. Probably. Even if Bruce did want to give you one, I don't think that Bucky's gonna let you get a concussion in his class. That's not what I'm worried about. Bucky lets out a sharp whistle and claps his hands. Let's go, boys. Warm-up start now. We go through our regular routine, running drills and doing bag work for a good hour or so until we're good and exhausted, as Bucky likes to put it. He also used useless to describe us once, but felt really bad about it, so that one's probably staying shelved. Alright boys, gather around. We form a sweaty semicircle around Bucky and Bruce. You all know our special guest today. They'd fucking better. Brucey here is gonna be giving you lads a one-on-one wrestling lesson. And if anyone calls me Brucey, you're gonna get a one-way ticket to the medbay. Any questions? He puts his hands on his hips as Bucky pats him on the back. I wanted you guys to get some practice grappling with someone above your weight. A few folks have gotten some pretty big weight differences in their fights, so I want you all to be prepared. When you gotta fight someone bigger than you, like huge big, what's the first rule when it comes to grappling? There is a silence for a second, and then I raise my hand. Don't? There you go. If you're in a fight and the guy outweighs you by a couple of dozen kilos, might be best to stay off the ground. Now, what are you gonna do if he overpowers you and takes you down anyways? That's kind of a vague question. There are a few ways to get out depending on the situation. That's what you're here to learn today. Bruce is gonna come at you, one at a time, and we'll coach you through it. Who's up first? A bunch of people start talking, but Redline steps up to the plate first, almost face planting into the dino's chiseled body. Brave. Attaboy, Red. You two ready? Redline says nothing, immediately going for a single leg takedown. Bruce doesn't budge. He lets out a loud laugh and steps forward, making sure that there's enough space to wrestle. Once there, Bruce grabs underneath Red's arms, making it easier to situate his leg to the outside of Redline's. Bruce's foot plants itself behind Red's, and with hardly any effort, the two drop to the mat with Bruce on top. Woof! Pause! Bruce freezes in place on top of Redline, his hands pressing the hyena's wrists against his fuzzy belly, as Redline thrashes underneath 300 pounds of muscle. After a second, he too calms down. So, Bruce has Red's wrists, and he's got a good mount. What should Red do here? The rest of the classmates are only half paying attention, some of them talking amongst themselves. Tap out? Guys, focus! He's already lost wrist control, and he's on his back, so he can at least try to get on his side? Out from underneath? Trying. Not quite. If you go on your side, it's gonna be real easy for me to take any position or hold I want, especially since I got your wrists. You want to take your knee and... Hey! Red was already scrambling to get on his side, and thanks to the amount of sweat on his fur, he slides out before Bruce can get his weight settled on top. The champ still has a hold on Redline's wrists though, and quickly pulls him close. No you don't, pup. Holding both of his hands against Red's wrist, Bruce can hold him in any place to his heart's content. If Redline wants to move, he has to use his hips, and right now Bruce has those pinned down. He postures up on one knee, then transitions to full mount, straddling Redline completely. Pause! The two freeze in place. Bruce has secured the mount. What should Red do? Again, the rest of the men are barely paying attention. A few voices speak up over the rest of the chatter. Tap out. Just kick his ass, since you're so strong, right? Hey! Easy. He spoke out low enough that the rest of the men couldn't hear. Bucky lets out a sharp whistle, loud enough to get everyone's attention. If Red doesn't get out of the hold, you're all doing 50 laps. Give some answers, boys. Clock's ticking. That got people thinking. They all start shouting answers, enough to drown out each other. Red starts squirming under Bruce. I got it. You got it? Alright, unpause. Redline tries to maneuver out, twisting his body and legs in precise ways, only for Bruce to defend against them. After a bit of grappling, they're in the same position but with Redline face down on the mat. Pause! The rest of the men are jeering and shouting commands, all mixed in too thoroughly for anyone to properly understand. Bruce is now sitting upright fully on Red's back, hands on his hips as he looks disapprovingly at the rest of the men. Any one of you got any actual help, or are you all just yelling shit? Looks like the right position for Red, honestly. Yeah, maybe Bruce will let you go if you suck his dick. That caused a reaction from everyone in the room. Bruce tenses up, Redline froze, the other fighters laugh. Bucky sent out another sharp whistle. Anyone that laughed gets 50 laps after class. After they finish training with me. His glare is enough to pierce the men, with most of their fun sputtering to an uncomfortable stop. I took his back. What are his options? They're all quiet. This is the worst case scenario down here. I can swing at his face. I can choke him out. I could go for another armbar. No rounds to save him. What can he do? Can he buck you off? One option. Or slide out from underneath? If he can lift 300 pounds, that's another option. Any way that you look at it, he's probably going to get hit, even trying to get out. He rolls over and I'll flatten his muzzle. Obviously, I'm not going to hit him right now, but this is the real danger that he's in. And this is real danger that every single person in this room could be in. He speaks slowly, loudly, deliberately, not to Redline, but to the rest of the fighters. When you get a fight, you don't know what's going to happen, and if you don't prepare for the worst, you could end up in a real bad spot. Quit fucking around and figure something out fast. You aren't always going to be fighting someone your size, not even down here. Red. He sighs and lifts his head. Yeah? I took your back. Yeah? You've bugged me off before. Why don't you show them how that looks with the bigger guy? Sure. With much less enthusiasm than before, the smaller man starts thrashing from side to side. It's not the most graceful way to shake someone loose, but in the heat of a fight, throwing someone off balance can turn the tides in an instant. Red turtles up, sliding a knee up closer to his head. Normally that would require him to lift Bruce with his hips, but the big guy's shifted into a position that makes it a little easier. After a little bit of buckling, Bruce falls off, with Redline postured up on all fours. Both fighters pause, without Bucky needing to tell them. And then from there, Redline can take control of the fight. Fighting from the top's tough, with a bigger opponent though, so he'll... Actually, I just wanted to work on defense with these guys today. Bucky and Redline both stop, looking a bit lost. Oh, sure. Bruce stands up, helping Redline to his feet. Good work, Red. Redline doesn't say anything, simply moving to the back of the crowd without making eye contact. You. He signals out the person that made the joke about Redline. Let's go. The other lightweights try to laugh it off, but Bruce goes in all for the kill almost instantly. His holds and slams are much more aggressive than he was with Redline, even compared to them wrestling on the beach last night. Red? He looks up at me, ears folded down. You okay? Yeah. It looks like Bruce is really giving it to him. Yeah. Red lets out a sigh. I thought this was gonna be fun. It's okay, dude. I don't know what else that I can do to cheer him up aside from draping my arm across his shoulders and hugging him against my side. After a beat, Redline leans his head against mine. We watch Bruce test the other fighters' abilities together. Well, test is the wrong word. He works through a series of holds with each guy, clearly going just far enough to scare them, all while Bucky coaches them through it. Every man in the gym gets his turn, all except for... You're up, Zan! Bruce glares at me. His chest is glistening, absolutely drenched in sweat, though I'm not sure if that's his sweat or everyone else's. You've been paying attention? Sure have. Consider this a taste of what's coming up this weekend, then. Of course, I'll be a lot less sweaty then. Bruce rises to his feet at full towering height of almost 2 feet over me. I have to crane my neck up to make eye contact. Unless you think that you can work me this hard. The rest of our classmates are barely paying attention at this point, but Bruce is still trying to keep up appearances. Until Bucky clasps his hands and announces loudly. Laps, starting now! Let's move, boys! The wary men all rise to their feet and start trudging to the door. Bucky's aggressive hand clapping makes them trudge a lot faster. I'll be keeping count. Get moving! Whoa, wait, Red. Come here. You don't have to run it. Redline was about to leave with the group, trying to brush past Bucky unnoticed. I've tried that before, so I know how ineffective it is. I know. I was gonna go shower. Oh, you sure you didn't want to stick around? Just gonna be us. It's fine. Thanks. Hey, bud. Let's talk real quick. Bucky and Redline step out of the gym, closing the door and leaving me alone with Bruce. He sighs and I can see his frame relax. You okay? No, I almost tore some fuck's head off. That might actually make some of the classes bearable. Think you could do that? You want to find out? His chest postures out, hot breath puffing down from his snout. We got all the space we need. Whenever you're ready. Bruce takes his position, ready to wrestle. I have no choice but to mirror him, and the two of us slowly start to circle each other. Whenever I'm ready. When am I supposed to be ready? We're already wrestled a few times before and nothing seemed to work. But this time it's just training. I don't need a win, I just need to think. I need to figure out what my options are. And the longer I wait, the more energy he's going to have. That's my first mistake. Come on, Zan! He almost growls the words, breathless, excited. My heart skips a beat and I snap back to the moment. I could go for the wrists, but there's a chance that he could get a hold of mine. Once that happens, I'm fucked. If I shoot for a leg, he's just going to catch me. I don't want to put myself under him. He's tired. I have to take advantage of that. He's going to be slower, and that sweat has left him slick. Maybe I can fake him out and take him to the ground? My hands reach out, feigning interest in Bruce's arms. Naturally, they try to deflect and grab my own, but I pull away before he can get a hold. Another hand reaches to go for his other wrist, and while he's busy deflecting that, my first hand reaches forward again. These are all just fence attempts to make Bruce react. I can try to catch him off guard. The faster I move, the more effort he has to put in. Reach in, grab his wrist, pull away before he can grab mine. Reach in, step to the side, make him think that I'm going for a takedown, just to take it back and move to the other side. His breathing has been heavy since we started circling, so I have to move fast. Faster than him, at least. He's giving me a chance. Finally, one of his arms reaches too far forward, giving me space to slip under and getting close without any resistance. My arms reach up and around his neck, locking in place behind him. The champ gives a scowl, realizing too late that I'm close enough now to carry any momentum. I slip a foot behind his ankle and sweep it out. If Bruce weren't wiped out like he is now, that might not have worked, but after wrestling for over an hour straight, anyone is bound to make mistakes. He wobbles for a second, but with an extra shove, he topples to the ground. Heavy bags around the room shudder as Bruce lands on the mat with a heavy thud. I scramble to take advantage before he can react, landing on top of him and crawling to mount his waist. Attaboy, Zan. Now, how are you gonna handle this? His thick arms reach for my neck, clamping down around it as he pulls my face into his chest, the other scaled arm folded over it, creating a nearly unbreakable lock. There's no force choking me out, just holding me in place. Urgh. Easy. Watch your breathing. He flexes his arms and I almost feel a choke start. Cause in a real fight, he won't be breathing much. I can just hear the cocky grin of his lips. Focus, Zander. My hand finds purchase on his abs. If this were a fight, I could strike here to try and loosen his grip, but not right now. I want to slide my hands into your lock and try to separate it. Good. But if I do that, you can get a hold of my arms too. Also good. For me. You can swing for my body. You can weasel out of my hold if I'm slippery enough. You are right now, yeah. That don't mean shit. Hey! Best to take advantage while he's talking. I press my head against his pecs and pull out. Luckily, the sweat was enough to lubricate me free of the hold. Before he can get under the hold, I scramble up onto his abs and posture up. Good God. It's hard to focus when he looks like this. Shit, I'll give you that one. Alright, wise guy, what's the plan from up here? He folds his hands behind his head, showing off his chiseled body. I take a second to breathe. I mean... My fist presses gently against his chin, signifying that I'd be able to strike in a real fight. I just knock you out, right? Sure, if you can. Got a diamond jaw, though. I roll my eyes. Yeah, I know, I've seen your earlier fights. It's a good look for you. What, you like my old gear? No, I like you getting beat the fuck up. Bruce lets out a deep laugh, sucking in heavy breaths as he wipes the sweat from his forehead. Sorry to say that it ain't gonna be that easy, but if you're nice, I'll let you get a few swings in before I win. You're gonna win, even when I got full mount? And I'm hammering away at your face? Done it before, and he was a lot bigger than you. But He was also probably concussed. Who says you won't be? You did. Aw, shit. I did? Yes, you told me that you weren't going to try to knock me out. In a flash, Bruce moves faster than I could have expected to. In an instant, I'm face down on the mat with Bruce's full weight smothering me. With a heavy grunt, that thick arm slides under my chin, ignoring any resistance I give. The arm bends at the elbow and his other hand locks the hold in place. His breath creeps down my neck, forcing a shiver down my spine as the heat plays against my nape. Then how about this? This okay? He speaks quiet, almost whispering. It's not a growl, but I can tell that he's not treating me gently. Fine. Kind of hard to speak when I get blindsided like that. Where did he get all that energy? Before I can think, he rolls us over. Bruce lays on his back with me on top, my backside pressed up against his body. With a bit of adjustment, we're both sitting up, his snout still pressed at my neck. How about this, Zan? Don't need to knock your head around to choke you out. I try to speak, but choke on my words, forcing out a cough instead. Bruce's hold lightens up even though it wasn't choking me to begin with. You got any idea how to get out of this one? Yeah. Good. Can't have Bucky's star student tapping out too quick. I feel my heart skip a beat. Fuck, stop. I can't be losing focus right now. My advice? Break the lock with your arms. It might give me the chance to grab your wrists, but there's really not much worse a position that you can be in right now. Otherwise, you can try elbowing my ribs. Or just do what I did in our second fight. You want me to carry you around? Ha! Sounds kinda dumb now that I said it out loud. But go ahead and take your time. I got all day. I slowly try to reach through and break the hold. Bruce's voice is tender and kind, but still has that deep growl behind it all, and his body is really warm, especially after all this training. I could probably fall asleep. Bruce keeps the coaching going. It feels like it's just the two of us here, on the mat, in this room, this whole floor, this whole facility. All that matters to me is learning how to break out of his hold. His arms are steel beams suspended with just enough force to keep me pressed against his frame. Brute force no matter how much I apply. I can't break through these. Not when they're like this, and probably not during the actual fight. I need to take advantage of his joints, how they bend, find the weak points, and exploit them until I can make it my escape. I'm too fucking tired right now, and this might be easier during the real fight. You got that? Huh? Oh, yeah. He grumbles for a second. Let me know if this is too much. We can take a break. Did I say that you could take a break? If I had any energy left, I would have jumped. Luckily, Bruce's hold remains firm, and I wouldn't have gone anywhere. He cranes his neck back to see Bucky. Come on, coach. I've been spearing this guy across the mat for an hour or something. Don't you have some kind of pep talk for him? Redline got a nice long one. Oh, please. It was 10 minutes max. That's about the length of all of our fights combined. I guess that's true. Our 3 fights haven't lasted very long. And the next fight won't be any longer. Zander here's gonna put you out cold. What? Is that true, Zander? He sounds genuinely offended, shocked even. The chokehold suddenly tightens enough to actually constrict. After all the bonding we've done, the good times we've shared? I tap and the hold barely loosens, just enough to breathe but not enough to move. At least Bucky and Bruce are getting a laugh out of all of this. Can you believe this, coach? I ought to pulverize him for even threatening that. Yeah, save it for this weekend. You boys doing all right? Bruce stands up, helping me to my feet. All good here. Yeah? Yeah, just tired. Then that means I did a good job. And you both did a good job too. Thanks for helping today. Anytime. I hope it helped. I'd say so. Gives me a lot of ideas on what to work with. And, sorry about the whole, redline situation? Not your fault, and thanks for saying what you did. I would have done more, but if I tell you what I was planning, I'd probably get in trouble. Don't get me started on some of these guys. You're fine. Is Red okay? Bucky hesitates. He's, better now, yeah. I think there's a lot of changes going on for him, and he doesn't really know how to handle it. Anything we can do? His voice goes low and he sighs. He's feeling lonely, I guess. That's what I'm getting. His family, his friends, people in class, I don't know. You saw what happened. And now he's all alone in his new room, right? Just try to be there for him. I'll do what I can. Same. That's sweet of you two. Just make sure that you can focus on your fights this weekend too. Yeah, champ? I look to Bruce, but he's looking at me expectantly. What do you say, champ? You ready to knock me out? That smile's gonna be the death of me. I'll have Redline visit you in the med bay. It felt badass at the time. No, it was great. I love that you're making Redline do your dirty work. You'll be too busy doing champ stuff. I was exhausted. I'll at least send him a get well soon card, or something. You should send him 10, once you get your prize money from kicking his ass, of course. Do you know how quickly that hits my account? We can ask Bruce once he wakes up. Bucky tousles my hair and laughs as we wait for the elevator to take me down to the arena. The last week has been filled with more intense training for this fight. Thanks for letting Bruce train with us. Yeah? You feeling more confident? You look it. Well, less scared to get taken down, that's for sure, and less scared of getting my face smashed in. Right, because you're gonna smash his in. Obviously. Red seems to be enjoying class too. He always enjoys class. Well, usually. He likes wrestling around with Bruce, that's for sure. Maybe you and him can trade places and he can have a chance to slam Bruce around the arena. Don't let him think that that's an option. He'll be hounding me for it all day. He's got that fight in 2 weeks anyways. He needs to be focusing on that. The elevator dings and the door opens. All set? Need me to come down with you? I don't think you're allowed to. Playing by the rules. That's the Zander that I know. Give him hell for me, alright? I'll do my best. Thanks, Bucky. See you soon. The floor in the elevator is always more chilly than the floor in the hallway. Even the arena's floor is a little less jarring. Well, I don't have to be barefoot forever. It's a short trip down, shorter than normal. I feel less nervous than normal, to almost excited. The complete opposite from my last fight. My last fight was so angry. I don't like getting that angry. I almost cussed Bruce out afterwards too. I should probably apologize for that. Maybe I should have taken him up on his offer to leave. It'd be easier, that's for sure, but now it feels like I have too much that I'd leave behind. Bucky, Drayden, Bruce, Redline. I at least would want a proper send-off. The elevator reaches its destination and I step out into the light. The glorious stage lights illuminating my path to the center of the arena. I'm not afraid of Bruce anymore. He'll probably try to play it up for the crowd. Should I be matching his energy? After how much he's opened up his past month, I think that's only fair. It takes a lot of trust to open up to someone like that. I have to remember to thank him for that too. I owe a lot to these people. To Bucky, to Drayden, to Bruce, and to Redline. I won't let them down. Before I know it, I'm moved inside the ring, hands to my hips as I wait for Bruce. The opposing elevator doors open, and Bruce comes sprinting out. He moves way too fucking fast for a 300-pound man. Bruce reaches the ring in only a few seconds and the bell rings as soon as his foot crosses the line. Bruce, Hey! The beast's arms whips out, swinging a wide lariat down for my neck. I barely manage to duck out of the way, and as I stagger down towards his side of the ring, his momentum carries him to mine. Bruce's claws drag into the cement as he slows before turning to face me. The slow, ominous turn only gives me more time to prepare. I'm shaking, but I don't think that this is out of fear. I'm excited. I'm ready. He tilts his head to either side, forcing a loud pop from his joints. And he opens his eyes. The two of us start to pace around the ring, circling each other slowly. Pretty fucking rude of you to avoid that runt. Was just trying to give the scrappy little bitch a hug. Gonna need to get closer if you want one. How about you come over here then? I give real good hugs, honest. There's that grin again. Dumbass. Come on, Zan. I don't bite. Your teeth said otherwise. Bruce starts to move in close. My back foot is already up against the ring, so I have to circle around him if I want to get out. Just one hug, and it'll be all over. Quick. Painless. He waits a beat before diving in, aiming blows for my head. They're slower, more predictable, just barely, but enough for me to notice. These aren't the punches that I've had to dodge for the last few fights. And with his body up close, it's hard to miss any shots. I fire away, keeping my guard tucked in close. A jab, then a straight, and then a hook as I pivot and turn away from the edge of the ring. Bruce is quick to follow, turning on his toes with a hook of his own to my head. I get in close to land a few more shots to the body, and then I slip into a clinch. Or the closest thing that I can get to a clinch given our height difference. Bruce easily shoves me off, aiming a parting shot to the chin. It glances off, grazing against my jawbone. But he's still holding back. I can feel it as he pulls a hand away. I force a punch out of his body, thumping hard into his chest. Psst, come here, you little shit. He clutches onto my wrist before I can pull back. I can't get away. But I can still fight back. He tries to pull me into him, but I stand my ground, using whatever strength I can manage to yank my arms back. Bruce leans forward just enough. With a split second of advantage, I swing. Crap. My fist rockets across Bruce's jaw, forcing the man to lose his balance for a step. I put my entire weight into that punch, and by the looks on his face, he felt every ounce. Hopefully the whole fucking facility felt it. Bruce has to let go of my wrist, immediately guarding up to protect his face. I can't lose his advantage. It's all that I have. Another two-piece combo to his body, with a hook glancing off his ribs. His guard flinches for just a moment, leaving barely enough of an opening. I lunge for one of his hands, trying to cover up, using it to keep my balance as my free hand crashes dangerously into the bottom of his jaw. The bigger man puts up one hand to shove me away and backs away at the same time. With some breathing room between us, he lowers his guard and I can see a trail of blood dribbling down his lower lip. Huh. Little fucker. I knew you were holding out on me. He steps closer, guard still ready. Come on, give me some more. You want to stand and bang, bud? I don't think you want that. I think you should man the fuck up. He drops his guard, stepping closer and gesturing to his chest. 1 for 1. Let's go, bud. So I hit him and he hits me back. I'm not about to risk taking turns trading punches from Bruce. But if he's staying wide open, I might as well use this, right? With only a second of hesitation, I swing a punch to his side, forcing a wheeze through his teeth. Bruce swings the same for me, but I step back, then leap right back in for a straight to his solar plexus. Shit! Bruce aims it straight to my body as well, but with the step to the side, it hits the air. I know he's still holding back, but there's something cathartic about making him nervous. With that split second of an open guard, I turn on my foot and plow an overhead into the center of Bruce's face. Bruce's snout nearly flattens, almost folding around my glove. For an instant, my fist hangs there, planting itself firmly in Bruce's face, leaving its mark where it belongs. I don't care if he's holding back. I'm not giving him any less than everything that I have. I can apologize later. Time resumes and I follow through, letting the punches recover safely as Bruce recoils. My guard is back and ready for anything. Bruce, on the other hand, has dropped his guard completely. He lunges for me, ignoring my attempts at retaliation and latching onto my wrists. In an instant, I'm slammed into his chest. Ha! There we go. You got stronger, kid. I try to pull away, but Bruce's arms are locked in place. I have caught him off guard last time, but he refuses to budge now. There's a few seconds where he just watches me struggle, a big deadly grin plastered across his face. Blood trails down one of his nostrils onto his thick, heaving chest. I feel like prey, like he's been laying in wait for weeks until I fell into his trap. And now, he gets his meal. One last attempt to break free before he sweeps my legs. My weight gives way and the two of us collapse. How about that? Still a little light on your feet, Zan? I've heard that growl before, earlier this week when we were wrestling. He's tired. Well, maybe not tired, but more focused now. In the zone, I guess. Not sure why I feel so scared. I've dealt with him like this before, except this time I've landed enough shots on him to make him bleed. I should feel good about that. He's probably pissed. Fuck, he feels so much heavier now. Any movement immediately gets forced down. He takes a moment to catch his breath, that wide body completely engulfing mine. I have to at least try to fight back. This is what we've been practicing all week. I plant my right foot, then my left, take slow breaths, and then push. Not a chance, runt. I feel his legs hook under mine, and with a single motion, he flips me onto my front. I scramble to turn back over, but 300 pounds of pure muscle hold me down. Bruce takes the mount, pinning both of my wrists to the cement. Don't panic. Stay in control. Plant your feet. Bruce locks my legs in place, spreading them open to prevent me from getting any leverage. Don't panic. Stay in control. Slip your arms free and keep him from getting the choke. Bruce slams down, splaying me out completely as his hands get a death grip on my wrists. Don't panic. Stay in control. Just, fuck. I can feel his snout peering over my head, just close enough to feel his breath in my ear. You remember this? Yeah. Yeah? You remember how to get out? It's coming back to me. Bruce speaks under his breath, still growling, still panting, still ravenous. Let's speed up the process, yeah? It's too hot, too hard to breathe, but I need to focus on getting out before. Fuck! Everything happened so fast, faster than it did in class. Bruce is less tired and probably more fired up after all the blows I landed. There we go. Bruce has me tangled up in his arms, seated upright against my chest. I try to position a leg in hopes of escaping. Ha! Almost, Zan. The thick pylons surrounding my neck constrict right away, cutting off my circulation. The transition caught me off guard, so my chin wasn't tucked. I only have a few seconds to get out. Come on, Zan. What are your options? He's whispering through gritted teeth, probably so no one can see his lips move. Struggling could make it worse, so I have to be careful. I send an elbow back into his side. Then a second, then a third. Bruce takes them with a grunt, but his body refuses to move. Easy now. You don't want to make it worse. My legs are pinned. I lean forward to try and get him off balance, but he's impossible. I clutch up to clutch his arms. He's too thick to completely get a grip on. Tapping already? I wanted to go all the way. It's getting hard to see straight. My vision shudders for a second, reminding me of the time limit I'm on. I have to keep going. The other hand reaches up behind me, fishing around for the wrists that's locked behind my head. Then my first hand, It's okay. Tap out. He's really strong. Right. The escape. Grab his wrist. Got it, I think. Then I just get my hand under his. The pressure is building up. The lights are too bright, but they're dimming fast. Feels like my head is gonna pop. My neck hurts. I rub my neck, and where's Bruce's arm? He was just here. I still have to get out of the hold, one hand on his wrist, the other gets under. Huh. Right. I must have run out of time. Rise and shine, Sleeping Beauty. I try to find the source of the voice. Fuck, my head is pounding. Bruce is behind me? I'm laying on his chest. I think. It's much nicer than the concrete. I went out? Like a light. How long was I? About 5 seconds. You all good now? The room was spinning when I opened my eyes, but after a few seconds here, everything's back to normal. Save for my headache. I think so. I kind of want to fall asleep. I wonder if Drayden has aspirin. Damn shame you had to drop so quick. The fun was just getting started. Yeah, sorry. I roll off of him, landing on all fours against the concrete. You look good with the broken snout. Bruce sits up, getting back to his standing position in a matter of seconds. Bet you would too. Without warning, I'm lifted up, Bruce's massive hand gripping the backside of my neck. Ah! Sorry. He whispers that last word before releasing the grip, dropping me onto my feet. After a stumble or two, I'm almost back to standing. Bruce is already walking towards his elevator door, holding a fist in the air. I imagine the crowd is going wild, probably. Both our doors start to open. Bruce gets to his and turns around to face the arena. And immediately scowls. Did I do something? What made him so angry? I take a step back, then turn to my elevator door. The commissioner is standing inside of it, glaring at Bruce. His eyes shift to me, and he steps to the side, making way for me to enter. I don't dare make any motion to Bruce or the cameras. I imagine the broadcast has already cut away, so it's likely that no one but us is seeing the commissioner now. Still, I take a shaky step inside and turn around to face the arena, to face Bruce. He looks mad. The doors close. It's just me and the commissioner. Alex. Zander. I don't look at him. I think it's time you and I have a talk about your performance. To be continued. Ooh. Thank you for reading the demo for Undefeated. This visual novel is a work in progress. Please follow Undefeated VN on Twitter for future updates. Oh, my back. Ugh. Okay, so I'm probably gonna separate this into many pieces. So let's talk about the part from where Bruce is helping train, the guys and the eventual fight. Okay, so I think it's kind of obvious that that something was going on between Bruce, Zander, and Redline. I'm pretty sure that the commissioner already knows. He was wise to all of this happening. I mean, he technically has gotten better, as Zander has. And no one could say that, without knowing the circumstances, that the show that Zander and Bruce put was bad. But I'm pretty sure that because Zander wasn't knocked the hell out, that it didn't garner the same type of reaction that all the other fights had. So my guess is that the commissioner is not happy about that. Because, I mean, MMA has always had a history of being violent, like a violent sport where people will get hurt and will break bones, and then, just a whole lot of bad stuff happens. But, I wouldn't say that it would get to the degree that, it has gotten between Bruce and Zander in the past. But still, I'm pretty sure that was a selling point to watch, Bruce beat up Zander repeatedly over and over. And now that this last fight was a little bit more in Zander's favor and not as violent, I'm assuming that that was a little disappointing for the commissioner, and that didn't go so well for the people watching and probably placing bets on the fight. Another thing that could happen, because it has been mentioned before, is that perhaps Bruce is going to be forced to take a fall. The way that I see this, or that I have been thinking about it since the beginning of the visual novel, is that the commissioner has been basically he obviously set up the fight. He's been doing this, but he's been doing this on purpose to sort of game the system when it comes to betting, either in his favor or in favor of Fang or something, where they're basically going to continue to bet where Zander is always going to lose. So of course, the odds are always going to be against him. And the more he loses, the more the odds are against him, the higher the number that is against him, like 1,000 to 1, like 1,000,000 to 1 or whatever. The more people bet against Zander, the more money gets put into the pot. So what happens if one day all of a sudden Zander wins? All of that money that was placed against him all of a sudden goes to the one person or to the few people that were betting for Zander. So, what if that one person or a couple of people happens to be the commissioner? Because it seems that Fang is losing a lot of money because it's making a lot of cutbacks and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure it's not because, I'm just going to be a dick about it. I'm just going to, mess with my fighters. It may be that, the rich person is no longer rich. It may be that he is running out of money and he needs a new revenue source. And what better revenue source than, a match where the odds are extremely against the lightweight dude to beat, the champ. And he hasn't been able to do it recently, but what if all of a sudden he does? But yeah. I do like the fact that you have Zander and Bruce and Redline interacting more. I do like the fact that, well, at least for Bruce, that there is a conscious effort to keep Redline in line and, I guess you could say sober. Like, when he got the beer. I know that Zander could have done it too, but like he doesn't know Redline that well and he doesn't want to piss him off that much yet. That he would, make a scene or something or would, create a rift between him and Zander because between Redline and Zander because Zander, either because of my choice in picking him or because of the story, he likes Redline and he wants to be there for him. And he doesn't want to, spark any animosity between the two, which I understand. I make new friends, I don't want to do anything bad that makes them get mad at me, even if they're not even actually mad at me. The whole introverted thing of being like, oh crap, are they mad? Are they mad? They're not talking. Are they mad? Where are they? They don't reply. So yeah. So what are your thoughts? Write them down in the comments, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Undefeated yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the description for the Undefeated Twitter page, as you saw earlier, which should have a direct link for the HIO page where you can download it and play it, or you can just go to HIO and download it there. I do not believe that they have a Blue Sky yet, but if they do, I will link that down. What else? Since it's been a while, I don't remember if they have a Patreon or any source of, like funding, but if they do, I will post that down as well. And that goes, doubly for my coffee in case you want to donate. The support really helps. It tells me that you guys like the videos, and in general, it helps, living expenses, stuff, supplemental income. But yeah, also, channel memberships, I am not sure if they will be up by then, or I'm kind of thinking that they will be up before you see this video. You'll probably see the infinite space video before you see that one. But yeah, so memberships, they'll be there. I made emojis. I'm working on trying to make like the little custom badge thing, but it doesn't come out right because it has to be 32 by 32 pixels. That's so tiny. But yeah. Anyways, so yeah. I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.